My experience began 3 weeks before my heart attack. First, I had a sick feeling that came over me while I was teaching school. The term would be over in 3 weeks. Thinking I was having a heart attack, the EMT came and got me at school and took me to the emergency room. But it turned out to be acid reflux, a common precursor to heart attack. So I went back to school. A week before my heart attack, I was watching TV, and a man who had had a heart transplant spoke to the audience and said he took 90 pills a day and could not miss even one pill. If he got sick, he would have to take more pills. I thought to myself, I will not get a heart transplant. He kept saying the same thing over and over. Do not get a heart transplant. Well, finally, I said out loud, even though no one was in the room with me, I declare no heart transplant. Exactly a week later, I was in the ER again. I felt I had been hit with a bolt of lightning, down fast and quiet. I did not have time to think or react. I even got into a tub full of hot water, thinking that I had strained a muscle. I was in horrible pain and I was scared. A knowing feeling came over me, and a voice said, "You need to go to the emergency room now." It was the same voice I had heard when I had been in a horrible car accident 20 years before this, and I remembered that I had not listened to it. So I responded right then. I ran down the steps and told my husband to take me to the ER. He had phoned my doctor, who had told him the same thing. I walked myself into the emergency room, thinking again acid reflux. However, when I saw the look on the receptionist's face, I knew something was very wrong. They got me in the room and gave me a liquid that worked when I was in there 3 weeks prior to stop reflux pain. But this time it came straight up and out of my mouth and hit the opposite wall. Now everything moves into slow motion and I see everything in the room and what is happening to me in my solar plexus, and I saw how afraid everyone was, but yet I had a very calming voice inside me telling me to be still and quiet. I just became very calm and peaceful. Then they said they had stabilized me for the trip to another city. I heard the EMT say, "She is not going to make it," and I remember wanting to say to him, "You should not say things around people like me. They just may believe it." I now realize he did not say anything out loud. He had said it to himself. I was hearing his mental thoughts. While I was being transported to the other hospital, I had another out-of-body experience and left and went outside of the ambulance and followed until I realized I was inside the ambulance as well as outside of it. That was when I was lifted up and out into a room with 12 beings of light in rows. The room was see-through and I could see all the planets throughout the universe. I did not go to the light, I went straight up and had a seat. We talked with no words, but images and feelings. I understood all they were talking about, but I also was so fascinated with what I was experiencing. I was taught different levels of science, and this was like being in a big school of truth, knowledge, and love, but all mixed up. However, I was very aware that I was sitting in a chair. I could not see the chair. I could feel my hands, feet, and chair, but could not see them, for I had no eyes. But I could see them with another set of my soul's eyes. I could see everything the Council of 12 told me. I had to go to review my life. Now I did not like that idea one bit, but knew it had to be done. I came to another place in my mind. It was a place I had known of before, but now I went with a light that was wordless. I felt a love I have never experienced here on earth. I sat in something resembling a director's chair. I was directed to look out into the universe and watch, and I started seeing a dot, coming faster toward me, speeding down fast, and then it was my life from the minute I was conceived to current times. I have had 3 other NDE, and I knew about this from my mom mostly. I was born in 1951, and I was my mother's 7th miscarriage. I weighed 1 pound and 7 ounces. I had drowned twice, and I saw both incidents as I reviewed my life. But in the review it connected the dots of knowledge behind the picture and why all that had to happen. I did not review everything, but just certain details of my life, such as when I was in 5th grade and how mean I was, and that I followed a group of other girls to hurt a particular girl's feelings. When I reviewed that event, I felt her pain, knowing that God felt it also, and I knew I had an opportunity to make a better choice but picked the group of girls over my soul. That was very awakening for me. I saw how I had harmed myself through poor choices that I had not realized were actual choices at the time. That was a big message. Everyone has all kinds of options and choices, but which one will serve your highest good, and doing that it turns out to serve all souls to their highest good. This was an opportunity to experience God from a whole new perspective, and that is what it is all about, perspective. I rode with the universe of God in the wheel of life, and I became a spoke in the wheel. The universe was the center. There were billions of us rolling through the universe and experiencing without emotions, fear, or judgment. I viewed my life and several events and realized that we are all one with the universe, so when I hurt someone, I was really hurting myself, and even more so, I was hurting every soul in the universe. I realized I was pure white light, and each soul had a different hue, but I could see them very clearly. Many souls could not make their soul review due to the fact they were still in the beliefs of earth in right and wrong. There is no right and wrong, as God said. Heaven is not a gated community. It is open for all to enter here. God's gift of truth and love, goodness over doubt, helped me to stop doubting myself. I came to know that I am the light of God. I traveled through the universe called the Wheel of Life. God, or the consciousness of God, was the center, and we were all the spokes of the wheel. I felt what God felt, and I knew what God's knowledge is not of this world, but a different world full of vibrations and colors never seen on earth. I realized we are all light, frequency, vibrations, and most of all pure love.